What's up, guys? Welcome to Rob's house. All right, today we're doing another Corvette modification. It's another relatively straightforward one. Right, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be swapping out the HMI on this Corvette and swapping out the USB ports so that we can have the newer infotainment system. This is a 2015. They didn't start offering Apple CarPlay in GM vehicles until 2016. So basically all this is a newer HMI programmed for this Corvette according to my VIN number. Should be plug and play, should be pretty easy. I'll be right back and I'll walk you through it.
All right, guys, so upon some further inspection here, I don't know why the instructions tell you to remove all these plastic trim panels because the HMI is right there. See where all these connections are? Basically, all we got to do is unplug all those wires.
Well, that was 8 million times harder than I thought it would be. I think I ripped this blue piece off the old one. This is the old HMI. It was really hard to get out. You basically have to, you wiggle it down, but then there's this really big wiring harness in the way, so you kind of got to like pivot it and kind of like rotate it to get out. It was very, very, very difficult. Anyway, we're gonna put the new one in. Reinstallation is pretty simple. So basically, it sits in a giant plastic sort of like bracket, and there are two tabs right where my fingers are on that bracket in the car, and you just kind of they kind of clamp onto the bottom of the unit here and here, and basically you just push them back and it'll start wiggling. Out. So put the new one in, we'll plug in all the same connectors, should be plug and play. We'll move on to the other side.
All right, guys, check it out. Next part of the install, we're on the passenger side of the car now. This is underneath my carpeting. And first things first, we're going to remove this metal bracket. So there are, kind of like hold this while holding the camera. There's 4 of these 7mm screw. You can't see the other one over there, but there is another one over there. And then there's 1, 2, and another one under here, 9mm nuts that we need to take off. Bracket out of the way, and that's going to give us access to where the satellite radio unit goes. Correction, that bolt at the top and these 2 bottom nuts are 10mm, not 9mm. The video I watched said they were 9s, so I stand corrected. All right, so we have another problem, which is that, well, it's not a problem, I guess, but this car is a Z06, so it has a performance data recorder right here. And the problem with that is these 2 gigantic plugs are basically impossible to remove. They're really stuck. So I already moved this control module out of the way. This thing was just connected. If you see back here, it was just up on this piece. You just simply move this this little tab out of the way and it drops right down. The problem is the unit that we are trying to replace now is actually behind this. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get in there without getting this performance data recorder out of the way. So I'm going to wrestle with that, and I will be back soon, hopefully with good news. All right, I figured out how to get these things off. So, you know, you have to release these red on. Some light going on here. You can see what's going on. So it's got this red tab. You got to push that back. I'd already done that. Then you're supposed to push down and pull like any other connector. I couldn't get enough leverage on it, so what I did was I pushed down and I stuck my needle nose plier underneath the black tab at the top there of that white connector, and I just pushed with my needle nose plier, and that was able to break it loose. So I did that for both of them. I just want to get all the metal stuff out of here so I don't scratch the shit out of my glove box or anything. So this, put that bracket aside. Basically, I have to slide the XM unit out the side and, you know, get to all the plugs and then put the new one in. So we'll be back. All right, so I kind of just tucked the data recorder over here. With this bracket, it's very, very flexible. So I pulled it way out, and if you actually push on the top, the bracket will pop out in the top. So all I'm trying to do now, it's actually, I broke it a little bit on the bottom, but what I need to do now is slide it out the left-hand side, and there's like barely any clearance behind this wiring harness. So I'll be back when I get it out. There's no way that I can hold the camera and do this at the same time. It's so tight in here. I can barely even, I can barely even get the problem is this door doesn't, like, it's all the way open, right? And I can barely get my torso in here enough to, like, get my hands where I need to get them. So anyway, I'll report back. Yeah, so I don't know how anyone gets anything out of that bracket without cracking the absolute shit out of it. I'm hoping it sits snugly, and the bottom cradle completely broke off as I was taking it out, so I have no clue if this thing is going to mount back in properly. I'm kind of hoping that it's just cramped enough in there that it just won't move around, but anyway, we'll see. This is the unit. I literally don't know. All the instructions say to slide it out the left. I don't know how you do that without cracking the plastic. I cracked the shit out of it in 2 locations, but oh well. All right, so I've got all the cables connected. We're gonna reinstall the radio module. 2 of the connectors on this module actually weren't, there just weren't any plugs for it. So anyway, whatever was plugged into the old one is now plugged into the new one. I'm gonna slide it back into that cradle and I'll report back. All right, well, it certainly doesn't fit the way it's supposed to back there, but it looks like it won't really move, I don't think. Once I put that metal bracket back on, it should hold all that into place. I don't think I have to worry about it too much. Yeah, it looks like it feels like it's sitting pretty much right against the floor. Should hold it into place well enough. I'll be back once I have the bracket on. Back here, we got the bracket reinstalled. Performance data recorder is back plugged in. I'm going to now tuck all the carpeting back in where it's supposed to belong, and we'll move on to the final step. All right, the last step is we're going to replace this USB hub here with this new one. All right, this part should be relatively simple. We're going to put a flathead in here, kind of push on the tab that's in the side here. You can see it on this other one. See how there's a tab on this side, tab on this side. So we're just going to push those in, pop it out. Sorry about that. I need both hands to do that. So pretty simple now. We're going to just unplug these 2 connectors. If you flip it over, there's tabs, and you can just, pinch the tab, pull it out. Same as any other connector. Let's see if I can hold the camera while doing this one. There you go. All right, so here's our old USB unit. Here's our new USB unit. And this is going to connect the same way. Let's see if I can hold the camera again. All right. Boom. Now, when I took it out, it was flipped this way. So I'm just gonna flip it back over, tuck it back in, and push it till it clicks. There it is. There you have it, new USB port. Moment of truth, I guess. We're in the car now. Let's turn the electric on. All right, we have a projection icon here. So that is a good sign. So let's real quick take my smartphone and plug it in. I have an iPhone with JJ on it. Hey, Apple CarPlay and its third-party apps and services may use your vehicle information. Heck yeah, do it. I do have to allow it on my phone. Just click allow. Okay, and here we are. All right, we got some CarPlay. Now, in theory, oh, we got some Avenged Sevenfold. All right, there we go. It's working. So it appears to be working. Go back to Google Maps. It seems to know where I am, so that's good. Sweet. Well, I think. Do I just hit home? Ah, that's how I get out of it. I was like, how do I get out? On the Mustang, the Ford, there's a Ford icon that you hit and it goes back to the main screen. So this is cool. But anyway, we're good to go with Apple CarPlay, it looks like. So.
Sweet. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. It was a successful install. It's a little bit frustrating getting the HMI out and getting that satellite radio unit out of this car is very difficult. And on both sides, it's really the same problem, which is that with the door all the way open, you still don't have that much room to get your torso kind of like up in here where you would need to be. So it's kind of difficult to just like get your head in there and see what's going on. But anyway, we're successful. Here's the old units. I will most likely save these just because I always save my stock stuff just in case. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Just so you guys know, if you're interested in buying an upgrade kit like this for your car, there's some things to know. I did some research on the forums before I actually went ahead and bought a kit. Now, the kit that I went with is from gmnavigation.com. That's gm-navigation.com. Link in the description. Now, there's another company called infotainment.com that also offers similar kits for not just GM vehicles, but for Ford vehicles and things of this sort. And the reason that I didn't go with their kit was, one, GM Navigation's kit was $100 cheaper, so that's always nice. And then two, the infotainment.com kits, some people have problems with them. Not everyone, but some people have problems with them not being programmed correctly for their vehicle. So review-wise, I saw that GM Navigation seems to have better reviews on average, which is why I chose to go with them. Also, GM Navigation sells kits for more than just Corvettes. This isn't something unique to my particular car. If you have any GM vehicle that was made in the last couple of years, typically the way it works with these manufacturers now is basically each company is starting to standardize their infotainment system. So Ford, for example, has Sync, right? With GM, they have, I think they call it Chevrolet MyLink or something. So in the case of the Mustang, for example, I did kind of the same type of kit where the HMI is actually affixed to the back of the screen. So you actually just pull the whole screen out and put a new one in and swap your USB ports. In the case of GM vehicles, the screen is separate from the HMI, but the concept is the same. Basically, you're taking a vehicle from 2014 or 2015. In this case, it's a Corvette. It's part of the C7 generation, so everything will fit. You know, everything from a 2016 or up Corvette will fit in the 2014 or 2015. So in my case with the Mustangs, the 2015 Mustangs still had Sync 2. The 2016 and up Mustangs had Sync 3. So same idea. I ordered an HMI. They program it for your particular vehicle, whether it's a manual or automatic transmission, whether it has navigation, whether it has heated and cooled seats. In the case of the Mustang, there are some touchscreen controls for that, so they have to program that in. And of course, you get Apple CarPlay support with that newer unit as well. Anyway, all of this just to say that this isn't unique to the Corvette. The installation, whether you have a GM vehicle, whether you have a Ford vehicle, whether you have a Chrysler vehicle, the installation is going to be the same. If you have a GM vehicle, I do recommend gmnavigation.com. The link is below in the description, so go check them out. Like I said, they were the cheapest option and the most reliable option. So it's a win-win in my book. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys next time.
Reach for the stars, 'cause we're